Today in Greensboro, a hearing was held before a federal judge in North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Anita Earls' lawsuit against the State Judicial Standards Commission in an effort to halt an ethics investigation about Earls saying it is impacting her right to free speech.
Well, this investigation was launched after statements Earls made earlier this year regarding the lack of diversity in the state's court system. Fox 8's Celeste Smith has the story.
Several attorneys, civil rights organizations, and North Carolinians sat in the federal courtroom in downtown Greensboro in support of North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Anita Earls. Earls is the only black justice on the state Supreme Court, one of 2 Democrats and one of 3 women.
This is a critically important public interest issue, and it should be for any political persuasion, any ideology, because it goes to the core of free speech. And what's happened is because Justice Anita Earls has spoken out, basically naming and talking about the lack of racial equity, meaning the disparity in racial and gender personnel in our judicial system, particularly the state Supreme Court.
The focus of Thursday's hearing before federal judge William Osteen was North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Anita Earls' motion requesting preliminary injunction, which would stop the ethics investigation. Earls' attorney argued the commission is not allowing her to exercise her First Amendment right to free speech.
I think it's very important that when situations like this happen, especially around potential discrimination or censorship of somebody's First Amendment rights, especially in a case like this, it's very important that people know that, one, they're not alone, and that there are people in the community that care, that want to see justice served.
Federal Judge Osteen asked questions regarding clarification of the statements made by Justice Earls regarding the lack of diversity in the state court and regarding other justices potentially placing their political ideologies over the judicial law to help determine his decision in her request to stop the investigation. If the investigation were to continue, it could jeopardize Earls' future as a justice in the North Carolina Supreme Court.
They would have the power, if they chose to kick her out of office or issue some kind of public reprimand, either of which would do a great injustice to us because it would harm her in her efforts to be reelected.
In Greensboro, Celeste Smith, Fox 8 News.
Before today's hearing, 36 civil rights organizations and legal ethics professors filed court documents in support of her request for a preliminary injunction. We want to remind